The first step toward advanced integration is process integration. Novices often wait until the conclusion to mix their findings. They write a discussion section that says, "Oh look, the survey and the interview sort of agree." Process integration means mixing throughout the entire life cycle. Your quantitative sampling might be informed by your qualitative pilot. Your interview questions might be tweaked in real time based on incoming survey data. The methods should interact and speak to each other during sampling, data collection, and analysis, not just at the very end. It's a dialogue, not two monologues delivered consecutively. One of the most powerful tools for this is the joint display. This is a visual technique, usually a table or a complex figure, where you array quantitative and qualitative data side by side for specific cases or themes. For example, you might have a table where each row is a participant. Column A is their survey score for depression. Column B is a quote from their interview about their mood. Column C is an observation note. By seeing these data points physically next to each other, your brain can spot patterns that remain invisible when the data sets are in separate files. You might notice that everyone with a high depression score used similar metaphors in their interviews. That's an insight you only get through visual integration. Joint displays help us create meta-inferences. This is the holy grail of mixed methods. A meta-inference is a conclusion that is developed solely through the integration of findings. It follows the formula: quantitative finding plus qualitative finding equals sign meta-inference. For example, the quant finding is scores dropped. The qual finding is participants felt rushed. The meta-inference is the drop in scores was an artifact of the testing environment, not a loss of ability. Neither method could tell you that alone. This is synergy. It creates new knowledge that transcends the individual datasets. Advanced integration also requires emotional and intellectual maturity because you have to manage paradigmatic tension. The reality is that these methods come from different worlds with conflicting assumptions about truth and reality. It's tempting to ignore this friction, but advanced researchers lean into it. We use a dialectic approach. We let the conflict between the numbers and the stories sharpen our analysis. If the numbers say one thing and the stories say another, don't smooth it over. Ask why. That tension is usually where the most interesting reality is hiding. This leads us to divergence as insight. Novice researchers panic when their data disagrees. The survey says people are happy. The interviews say they are miserable. They think, "Oh no, I failed." "No, you succeeded." Divergence is not a failure. It is an opportunity. It forces you to investigate. What complexity is causing this contradiction? Perhaps the survey questions were interpreted differently than you intended. Perhaps people perform happiness on surveys but reveal misery in conversation. That contradiction tells you something profound about the social pressure to appear happy. You would have missed that if your data had perfectly converged. A practical technique for handling this is case study integration. You can select specific nested cases to integrate your data. For example, look at your scatter plot. Find the statistical outliers, the people who are way off the regression line. Go back and interview asterisk those specific people, asterisk. Why are they outliers? What makes their experience different? By conducting deep, qualitative inquiry with statistical outliers, you explain the boundaries of the phenomenon. You understand not just the average, but the full range of human experience. Ultimately, advanced integration aims for transformation. We aren't just describing the world, we want to change it. By seeing the system through quantitative data and the person through qualitative data, we can design better interventions. If we only see the system, our solutions are impersonal and often fail. If we only see the person, our solutions don't scale. By integrating both views, we can move from description to prescription. We can design solutions that are both scalable and humane. When it comes time to publish, we must report this work rigorously. This requires radical transparency. You must document exactly how the datasets were merged. Did you use a matrix, a joint display? The reader should be able to trace your meta-inference back to the raw data. They should be able to see the math and the quote that led to your conclusion. We must also report with humility. Integration is an interpretive act. Acknowledge the limitations. Acknowledge that another researcher might have integrated them differently. That honesty builds trust. As you can see, this work requires a specific type of researcher. It requires literacy in multiple languages. You have to speak stats, and you have to speak stories. This is hard. Very few individuals are experts in everything. That's why advanced integration often requires teams. It pushes us toward collaboration. Above all, it requires a mindset of openness. You have to be willing to sit with conflicting evidence, to be confused, and to work through the tension to find the deeper truth. To summarize Lesson 3.4, don't wait until the end. Integrate throughout the research lifecycle. Use visual tools like joint displays to force your data to interact and create meta-inferences. And finally, do not fear tension. Use the paradigmatic conflict between your methods to generate deeper, more robust, and more interesting insights.